Dr. Gary Chapman, in his celebrated book, Five Love Languages, says that there are five different dialects of love or ways of expressing love: words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, physical intimacy, and quality time. Of course, he's mostly saying this in the context of marital love. Taking Dr. Gary Chapman's language to God, we can indeed express our love to God with any of these. However, what is really at the heart of love is this question: are we willing to spare time to be with the object of our love? I love you, but I don't have time for you is a false premise, a blatant lie. Today is the 19th day of our intercession, and you have given time again and again for this beautiful ministry. We want to congratulate you for this commitment. More than 1,000 people had signed up, but only a few, 100 plus, joined. Let us encourage our friends also to join. Now, for a moment, let us look at intercession from God's perspective. God does not need any of us to effect any change in this world. He can do all things without us. Then why are we interceding? In our giving time to Him, we are giving something that only we can give personally. Right from the Garden of Eden, we see that God is constantly seeking to meet His creation. God longs for this time. Yes, He wants to spend this half hour listening to us. He waits for this time, not because He cannot do without our advice or prayers, but because for Him, this is the time to spend with His beloved, each one of us. He is the true lover who waits for the beloved beyond time and reason. Jesus called the 12 out of the crowd and chose them as apostles. For what purpose? Mark chapter 3, verse 14 says, so that they might be with Him. Jesus calls His disciples His friends. No Jewish rabbi would have ever dared to do something like this. But Jesus is expressing His intimacy by calling us His friends. He expresses His deep vulnerability. What a privilege. That is what He thirsts for, to spend time with His friends. He went to the home of Martha and Mary and Lazarus. They were called His friends. At the Garden of Gethsemane, in His most difficult hour, Jesus longs for His friends to be with Him. But we know how that turned out. Jesus is making Himself vulnerable to His friends. And isn't true friendship all about vulnerability and openness? For us prayer warriors, can we see our intercession also as an act of love? A place where we are vulnerable, we are open. We are giving time, and hopefully quality time. And that is the most precious thing we have. And in giving time, we are telling God we value this relationship. Even if God does not answer all our prayers as we expect, we continue, because intercession is not just getting things or making God do things for us, but spending time with Him. A day in your courts is better than 1,000 elsewhere, the psalmist said. Have you ever wondered why certain prayers are answered very quickly, while some take years? One of the reasons why God delays the answer is that not only does He purify our motives, but He also wants us to linger a little longer, to spend a little more time with Him. Could we change our focus from the fact that prayers are delayed or answers to prayers are delayed to the fact that it is the most precious privilege to be able to spend time with Him? Look at the number of scriptures there are about waiting. Just an example: those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Waiting is always very, very tiring. But God says, if you wait for me, you will be strengthened. Jesus told His disciples to wait for the Holy Spirit. And we know when they waited, they were purified. And when they were purified, they were open to receive him. And when they received, they set the whole world afire with the gospel. With grateful hearts, let us be aware that the fact that God does not need us, but yet he allows us to be part of this theodrama. He lets us play the role of bringing down the walls of Jericho, of defeating the enemy, of pouring his mercy to the sinners, of sharing his hope to the hopeless, and his light to those in darkness. So, dear brothers and sisters, dear prayer warriors, let us continue to meet together. Let us continue to encourage each other as we see the day approaching.